Hey everybody, what's going on? Bahroo here, and today I've got another episode of Best in Slot. Now in this series, we'd like to take a look at the best of a certain weapon type and try and figure out the best, highest damaging for that weapon type. And today we're going to be going over rocket launchers. Now the reason I'm doing rocket launchers is because pistol and sniper both have a very unique episode, and I want them to be really well done. I wanted to make sure I take my time with that, and we're going to go ahead and get rocket launchers out of the way because everybody already knows what the top spot of this one's going to be. But snipers and pistols, they've got a little special something for them. But anyway, let's go ahead and jump into this. And again, thank you to all for all the amazing support. But with that, let's just do it. So coming in at number 5, we have the Dump a Derp, which is the basic purple Torgue rocket launcher. This is a fairly strong rocket launcher, matching some of the E-techs in DPS, as well as it just having a nice high damage for getting those second wins. And we're going to take it to Badmaw here and see that it does tear him up pretty quickly for a non-unique rocket launcher, which is pretty nice to have a non-unique on this list. But one of the drawbacks to this rocket launcher, unfortunately, is the slower projectile speed. But if you can get around that, or if you have skills that increase your projectile speed, you really won't have too much of an issue using this. Now for the parts on this, you're going to want the Torgue barrel, Torgue exhaust, Torgue grip, and for your sight, you're going to want it to be TDR. You're pretty much going to want a TDR sight on basically all rocket launchers because it will give you the highest DPS increase. Anyway, moving on to number 4. And for number 4, we have the Topnia. Now the Topnia is slightly better than the Dump a Derp in terms of DPS, but in overall usability, this one will beat out the previous launcher simply because its rocket speed is not as long, as well as it having that E-tech splash. Now E-tech splash will allow users who use the sham to basically have near infinite ammo, since the splash radius counts as a rocket, as well as being able to splash other enemies around you. And as we can see from this DPS test, it does not take that long for the Topnia to kill Badmaw. One other thing to note is that the Topnia is not as ammo efficient as the Torgue rocket launcher, so if you're going for efficiency, you're going to want the Torgue rocket launcher, but if you just want to be able to get up as quickly as possible with these two different rocket launchers, the Topnia will beat out the Torgue launcher. And now for the parts that you're going to want a Vladov grip, a TDR sight, a Torgue exhaust, and as with the previous launcher, you're going to want a rate of fire prefix. All the launchers benefit from rate of fire, but if you want more damage efficiency, then go for obviously the damage prefix. But for overall DPS, you're going to want the rate of fire increase. Anyway, moving on with our third one now. And coming in at number 3, we have the Bada Boom. Now the Bada Boom is number 3 here instead of being number 2 because there is actually a different launcher that beats one out and is actually one of the most efficient rocket launchers in the game. But keeping to the Bada Boom here, this one is much higher direct damage, however at the cost of having next to no splash. But if you can land all of the projectiles on target, you're going to be doing significantly more damage. And as we go over to the Badmaw fight here, you can see that he is just going to get absolutely torn apart by this Bada Boom. And even on 4-player difficulty, which isn't here for rocket launchers, but on 4-player difficulty, this one will have no issue just tearing apart enemies. And for second winding, it's not too bad, but I wouldn't really recommend it because of the split between the rockets. Now, as far as parts go, you're going to want a Bandit grip, a TDR sight, Torgue exhaust, and again, you're going to want the rate of fire increase prefix. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at number 2, which, as I said, is going to be the most damage efficient rocket launcher in the game. So now at the number 2 spot, we have the Creamer. Now the Creamer is the most damage efficient rocket launcher in the game, as I've said. However, it does have one drawback to being almost one of the best, which is the fact that it does have a sort of sweet spot that you're going to have to you're going to have to get over. Because the way the Creamer works is that it launches its main projectile, and then after it's traveled a bit, creates an explosion, which does 100% of the damage, and then splits into 2 rockets. So if you manage to hit this sweet spot when we go into the DPS test, you'll see that the rocket launcher ends up hitting about 3 times, which ends up just absolutely decimating Badmog, except for the 3rd shot there ended up not hitting that sweet spot. But if you can hit it, it is really good, as well as the fact that the Creamer will heal you for, I believe it's 2.5% of all the damage that you deal. So you really, it will act as if its own grog nozzle, because it does so much damage. Now for the parts, you're going to want a Torque Grip, Torque Exhaust, a TD sight, and you're going to want a rate of fire prefix, as with everything else, or if you want, potentially going mag size if you prefer that. But overall, those are the parts that you're going to want. The prefix is kind of interchangeable depending on your own playstyle and your character's stats. Anyway, it's no surprise, but let's go ahead and take a look at what managed to hit number 1. Get ready to just be shocked. And surprising literally nobody, the Norfleet is, of course, number 1 rocket launcher in the game, and the DPS chart really doesn't do it justice, simply because of the fact that it's a 2-shot launcher. Its damage per shot is the highest out of any launcher in the game, as well as the fact that its splash radius is gigantic, with being able to take out basically entire rooms at a time, depending on the difficulty and if the enemies are slagged or not. And if we go over to our Badmog quote fight, you'll see that he really doesn't do anything outside of just die. So that's a thing. Unfortunately, really not much to say about the top spot. It's the Norfleet. Everyone knows this launcher, but we will go over a tactic that I've been using over all of these launchers and was taken into account for these DPS tests. But first, the parts that you're going to want for the Norfleet are again interchangeable depending on your character, but for this we go Malawan Grip, Torque Exhaust, TD sight, and a damage accessory. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a quick chat about reload canceling. Alright, so first, to talk about reload canceling, let's go ahead and take a look at the reload speed of my launcher here. Now, as you'll see, the reload speed of this launcher is about 6.2. However, in DPS tests, I don't actually make it this long. The reason is for that is because almost every launcher outside of Vladov can do what's called a reload cancel, and certain shotguns can also do this, but most high rate of fire weapons don't benefit from this as much as the slower rate of fire items, such as these launchers that have 0.8 to 2 or to 1.3. So anyway, so as you can see here, what I'm doing is as soon as my reload animation kind of finishes and the ammo is inside of the magazine, you'll notice that I'm sort of meleeing as soon as the ammo is inside the magazine, indicating that the reload is basically finished. And if we look at the Vladov one, and when we compare it to its ready state, it doesn't actually have any extra animation to go over once the ammo is inside the magazine. Now, if we take a look at the Norfleet, the reload speed on it is pretty identical to the full animation. However, if we take a look at it, it has a 4.1 reload speed. However, if I do some reload canceling, as you'll see here, there's the normal one, and now we're going to go ahead and do a reload cancel. You'll notice it is significantly faster, shaving off a couple of 1 to maybe even 2 seconds off your reload speed. And this can allow you to get more damage out much faster. So anyway, guys, that'll pretty much wrap it up for this Best in Slot. I want to thank you all for watching, and as always, if you like this series, be sure to hit that like button. Help support me in what I do, and the next one will be pistols. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you later.